wow, what a game that was last night. If you missed it, you missed it. Man, 26-23, 49ers in overtime beat the Rams, go 3-0 on the road, 3-0 inside the division, up their record to 4-1, send the Rams to 3-2. An incredible performance by Mac Jones, who got his ass kicked. Unbelievable. Niners still could not run the ball. Kendrick Bourne out of nowhere had the game of his life, and the 49ers got a goal line stand. They got a forced fumble at the 1. The Rams made a bunch of mistakes. Niners dominated the time of possession, played keep away, and the Niners held on for a 3-point win. Chase, how was your in-game last night? I mean, it had to be wild. And what did you think? I mean, where do you want to start on this one? A 3-point win by the Niners, but it was so much more than that.
It was, and I think it goes down as one of the craziest Niners regular season games of all time, certainly in recent memory. And for our live show, more than 160,000 people tuned in all throughout the evening, and it really was a roller coaster ride. And I didn't think the Niners were going to win, but a lot of my coworkers at the Chat Sports Studios were saying, Niners are going to get blown out. And I said, I don't think they're going to get blown out. I think they're going to keep it close because it's a short week. It's a rivalry game. Kyle Shanahan has coached very well against Sean McVay. He understands what the Rams do well. Obviously, Robert Saleh has familiarity with the current nuances and trends of offensive football, but he has experience going up against Sean McVay as well. And so I thought the Niners were going to come into this game motivated. I thought they were going to play tough and resilient. And I thought this game was going to come down to the wire. And it did. But I did not expect Mac Jones to have an all-world performance. I didn't expect Kendrick Bourne to literally have a career game. And the thrilling nature, the ups and downs, the twists and turns, this is why you love sports. This is why you love football. It really doesn't get any better than that. And that was ultimate theater last night. And I was driving home yesterday after I got done a workout, and I was thinking back to that 2020 game when Nick Mullins led the Niners, I believe, to a 20-17 victory. Similar circumstances. The Niners were banged up. They were very injured, and they were going up against a Rams team where they were sizable underdogs. And I got to thinking, I'm like, this is the beauty of football, right? That even when you're huge underdogs, even when you're injury depleted, there's still an opportunity to win any given Sunday. In the case of Thursday, any given Thursday, right? And how you do that is if you play a perfect game, if you play near flawless football, if you basically do the exact opposite of what the Niners did against the Jags. You're going to have some big players step up. You're going to have to win the turnover battle. You're going to have to capitalize in the red zone. The ball is going to have to bounce your way. And all of that literally happened for San Francisco. And this isn't just a big win for Thursday in week 5 to move the Niners to 4-1. The ramifications of this, I think, are huge. Fred Warner even said it after the game. He was as pumped up as he's ever been. He called it humongous. But think about how young this Niners team, all of these new faces that are with this Niners organization now, this is a formidable win for the young players on this team as kind of a culture influencing win for the new wave of players to experience, hey, this is the Niners MO. This is the Niners mentality. We're tough. We're not going to back down. And mentally and physically, we're going to bring it. And we're never going to lay down for any opponent. And I thought Kyle Shanahan coached a great game for a majority of the game last night. Robert Saleh without a pass rush. I thought his unit came to play. Thank God the special teams played pretty well, but such an impressive all-around win for San Francisco where they had to put their nuts on the table, and they put their nuts on the table.
Yeah, no, huge night for Shanahan, huge night for Saleh, huge night for the young defense, but nobody had a bigger night than Mac Jones. Nobody improved the impression of who they are as a player around the league more than what Mac Jones did last night. 33 of 49. He almost threw it 50 times on the night, 342 yards. He had 22 points for the Kruegerans in the KNBR Fantasy League. I had Mac Jones as my starting quarterback. I had a guy talking trash to me saying that I needed to trade for Justin Fields. And I'm like, I'm rolling with Mac Jones tonight. And he's like, all right, well, good luck. It's like, I don't know I don't know if I need luck at this point, but what do you make of Mac Jones? There are people that are saying, you know what? I've seen enough. Mac Jones is the guy. Trade Brock Purdy, and they're done with Brock Purdy. Then there's people that are like, you know what? I like Mac, but I don't think he's Brock Purdy. And then there's people that think that Mac's just, in a lucky stretch, that, this is no different than any other backup quarterback who happens to have a nice little 2 or 3 game stretch. He was a first round pick, Chase. I mean, the other wrinkle to this that's so interesting, and I brought it up to Damon Bruce in our last stream, and I think I'd love to get your thoughts on it as well. If we can assume that Mike Lombardi and all the people that were saying in 2021 in the lead up to the draft that Shanahan was all in on Mac Jones and wanted Mac Jones, and they traded up to get Mac Jones. And if that indeed was the case, and then for whatever reason, Shanahan was convinced to go with Trey Lance, but let's just say that is accurate, that it was Kyle Shanahan who was banging the table for Mac Jones. It was Kyle Shanahan who wanted Mac Jones in 2021. What do you think the dynamic is behind the scenes in the 49er offices when probably a lot of those same people that were trying to convince Kyle Shanahan to go with Trey Lance are still probably there? And Kyle, if what Michael Lombardi said was true, that he was all in on Mac Jones, if we just assume that was the case, what do you think the dynamics are like behind the scenes as Kyle is scheming and game planning to, support and back the quarterback, let's just say, that he was pounding the table for, as opposed to the other people in the organization? I mean, when you frame it that way, it does kind of paint a picture that I'd love to kind of know what the score is in their room when they're all sitting there, as far as who wanted what, who pounded the table for who. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I think this storyline and this overall development is so fascinating for so many reasons. And I know a lot of people want to throw out the 2 words there, quarterback controversy. I don't think there's a true quarterback controversy right now. I think people have kind of taken for granted, and they forget just how great Brock Purdy has been, how efficient he's been, and the things that he's been able to do. I will say with Mac Jones, I do like his size. I like his arm strength. And I like how he can hang tough in the pocket. And I think he's a little bit better inside the pocket than Brock. But obviously, Brock is better with making plays out of structure and improvising, being able to create with his feet and his legs. And it's a really special quality. And I don't think that Mac Jones playing this well is really putting a lot of pressure on the Niners or making them second-guessing this contract. Now, if Purdy is out for an extended period of time, if he goes on injured reserve or something with this turf toe, and Mac continues to play well, he has to get healthy first, but play like he did against the Rams, then the conversation becomes a little bit interesting. As far as the dynamic behind the scenes, look, we know that Kyle Shanahan is very proud of himself and very confident in himself for his football mind and how he's able to run an offense and call plays, design plays, and run an organization. And he's had so much success with San Francisco. I mean, you saw last night, without Kyle Shanahan, the Niners don't win that game. Mac Jones doesn't play like that. And so there are other teams across the NFL who would be salivating over the thought of hiring Shanahan. If he were to get let go by the Niners, you saw last night why he would get scooped up in 5 minutes. I mean, the team was prepared. The team was motivated. The team had no fear. Mac Jones looked awesome. And why is that? That's because of Kyle Shanahan. Shanahan was creative in that first half, and the Niners pretty much won the game in the first half, being able to build that lead. As far as the dynamic behind the scenes, I could see Shanahan, given how competitive he is, wanting to stick it to some people if that were the case, right? And say, I told you pre-draft, I love Mac Jones, really liked him as a scheme fit. He was the much more proven product as compared to Lance, who was the bigger project. And I was right all along. That's why I wanted to bring him back. And the decision to bring back Mac Jones, a season-saving decision by San Francisco. I mean, if we had Josh Dobbs or Brandon Allen out there, the Niners aren't going 3-0. They might lose all of those games, and the season at this point, as of early October, might be over. But Yeah, I think Shanahan is showing like, hey, this was my vision. This is why I like the player. And I got to be honest, like I didn't love the Niners taking Mac in 2021 because I thought he had a clear ceiling, whereas I thought Trey Lance had a lot more potential. And I just don't think that things went right for Lance. Injuries, lacked confidence, but also the inexperience that he had in college really was a huge detriment. And I didn't put enough stock into that because I just looked at the raw ability, and he had a ton of it at North Dakota State. I did, though, with that being said, really like Mac Jones as a player coming out of Alabama. I mean, I know that he was surrounded by a bunch of NFL dudes, but the year that Alabama won the national championship, he led the nation in completions with 311. He led the nation in completion percentage at 77.4%. He threw for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 4 picks. And what did we see when he was at Alabama with NFL guys? Got rid of the ball on time, accurately, in rhythm to his playmakers. He was able to layer throws, had some good arm strength, hung tough in the pocket, and he played point guard within that offense. What have we seen him do for Kyle Shanahan? Literally do the same things. He layers throws like Purdy, a little bit bigger so he can see the field a little bit better, but he's able to distribute the football and really play point guard in an impressive way with this offense. And what a job by Shanahan to really revitalize Mac Jones's career. I mean, the Patriots and the Jags literally left him for dead. Nobody else across the NFL wanted him. And that was because of the play, but it was also because of the image that people had of Mac Jones. With the 3 starts that he's made for the Niners, playing wise, with what he's done on tape, he saved his career and revitalized it. And then as a person and personality, I think everybody thinks differently of him. And then maybe most importantly, the toughness that he exuded last night. I mean, that goes down as one of the toughest, grittiest performances that you will ever see from a quarterback. At one point, it looked like he was dead on the field, right? Laying motionless on the turf. For him to fight through that and perform this well with the lack of weapons and the players who he was throwing to against that Rams defense, it's a legendary performance, and that is not a hyperbolic statement.
No, it was absolutely a legendary performance. Here is the scene inside the Niner locker room at the end of the game. These are always great. Here, if you haven't seen this, here you go.
All the way to and D, who stopped that dude on the goal line? Alfred Collins. Hey, Alfred got the strip, right? D line, man. Alfred, you making that strip. Alfred, come on.
Hey, bro. I love y'all boys. That's against the wall, bro. Hey, we're going to fight.
Got Eddie, hit a 59-yarder.
Every time, bro. That's why football is the greatest team sport. You guys have my back. I appreciate it, man.
IGYB.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good moment. Good moment.
That's the beauty of team sports right there, honestly. You know?
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that stuff never gets old. I know some people be like, it's hokey. And no, I don't think so.
That flight back to the Bay Area had to have been lit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's amazing. It's amazing that, now here's the thing about last night's game. So we've hit the good. Mac Jones was incredible. We've hit the good. Kyle Shanahan was incredible. What'd you think of Kyle Shanahan going up to Mac Jones and telling him he was disgusted about the spread?
I thought that was awesome. It's like, dude, we're 8.5-point underdogs. We're getting disrespected. And it's kind of delusional from Shanahan. Like, this goes back to what I said earlier. He's so confident in himself and his ability as a coach that he was shocked that they're 8.5-point underdogs. But it's like, Kyle, this is kind of how the odds makers work, right? You're without Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Malik Mustafa, Nick Bosa. The odds makers aren't going to give you a lot of props, but I did think that number was a little bit fat. And I love how Shanahan used that as a rallying cry. And it's funny how Mac was like, yeah, I don't really go on social media. I don't pay attention to betting lines. I was like, I don't really know what 8.5 means, but let's go kill them. Let's go dominate them. Just such an organic, natural moment. And you kind of like to see that personality flavor from Kyle Shanahan because you don't always see that.
I know. Though I don't know if I believe Mac. We're supposed to believe Mac Jones doesn't know what the point spread means. I mean, come on, bro. Really? I mean, I guess I'd rather him know that than be like, yeah, it's 8.5 or 8 in the hook.
Yeah.
If he had
Well,
some,
one thing's for certain. I don't think he's John Mateer, the Oklahoma quarterback, sending bets on Venmo. So
yeah, exactly. He's not Art Schleister from way back. The Niners still couldn't run the ball.
No.
They could not run the ball. 33 carries for 74 yards, 2.2 a carry. Christian McCaffrey, 2.6 a carry. Brian Robinson, 2.4 a carry. They could not run it. They cannot run it. Why are they struggling to run the ball? Is it Connor Colby is a rookie at left guard? Is Pooney regressed? Is Brendel not good? Is Christian McCaffrey lost a step? Is it because of the injuries at wide receiver and then teams are defending the Niners by just daring them to pass and loading the ball? I mean, this can't continue.
No.
They're going absolutely nowhere at 2.2 a carry. What are you seeing?
It's not sustainable, and especially in Kyle Shanahan's offense where everything is built off of and predicated off of the run game. Longevity-wise, the Niners aren't going to be able to last if they can't run the football. And I don't think it's Christian McCaffrey. I don't think that he's as quick and as twitchy as he was in 2023, but that's fine. He's finding other ways to be productive. And I was kind of on this a few years ago before the Niners even traded him. I had said, given his natural ability as a pass catcher and his dad really developing that skill set within him when he was coming up as a kid and then in high school and college at Stanford early in his career, his footwork and his ability to run routes like a wide receiver, I had said a few years ago, can allow him to really extend his prime years, because even if he loses a little bit as a running back, you could still utilize him as a receiver. Larry, he's top 15, top 10 in receiving yards across the entire NFL this year, and he looks phenomenal in catching the ball. And so I don't think it's McCaffrey's issue. I think it's the offensive line. Like when I watch the Niners try to run it, how often are defenders already in the backfield disrupting plays, throwing the interior Niners offensive lineman to the side like rag dolls, and being able to hit Christian McCaffrey, where when he gets the ball, right after he gets that handoff, he's running into contact. I mean, the yards before contact are not there. We know that this scheme works.
It's
we know
by the way, it's
efficient with
1.47 yards before first contact.
That's one of the worst marks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley last year was number 1 in the NFL at like 3.8 before contact. He's at around 1 this year. So the Eagles offensive line has also struggled. And I'm seeing similar things between two lines. There just aren't big holes leading to explosive plays, and everything is clogged up when the Niners try to run the ball. Now, they're running into heavy boxes a decent amount, and that might be to your point of other teams not being threatened by the wide receiver talent, but I just see this interior Niners offensive line getting pushed around. Jake Brendel doesn't have a strong enough anchor, and he's just not what I would call a bully at the center spot, and he's an okay athlete. Connor Colby just isn't ready for consistent NFL snaps right now. He's getting pushed around. Dominic Pooney has regressed, and I'm not sure if it's because of the knee injury that he suffered week 2 in the preseason, but when 3 of your 5 linemen can't block, that is the run game right there. And so I think it's an interior offensive line problem, which is why the Niners can't run it.
Would you replace Brendel with Nugent or Zakel or Hennessy? Or, I mean, they have like 4 different options they could probably go to. They've always backed Brendel at every turn.
They love Brendel.
And PFF seems to love him as well. But, I mean, how much can you love your center when, as you said, your running back's got 1.47 yards before first contact? That's and they're trying desperately. I mean, they're having a hard time on quarterback sneaks getting any push.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Brendel, they've said over, I mean, we know how they feel about Brendel. They love Brendel. They clearly value Brendel more highly than others do.